Okay, so NVIDIA's latest earnings call, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I know you followed them closely, but whoa, this wasn't just numbers and spreadsheets. This was like a glimpse into the future.
Right. It's almost like they're not just making chips anymore. They're building the actual road for this whole new world of computing.
Yeah, and they pretty much said so. Remember we've talked about those giant data centers like the backbone of the internet and all? NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, he basically said, get ready for AI to run the whole show.
And everyone's ears perked up when he started talking about Blackwell, their next-gen tech. I mean, their current top-tier chip, Hopper. Companies are, like, fighting to get those. They're that good.
It's a huge performance jump, right?
Totally. But then Blackwell comes along. It's like we're comparing a sports car to, like, a freaking spaceship in terms of what this unlocks for AI.
And the numbers he dropped, mind-blowing. 3 to 5 times faster AI processing, same power usage. That's not just speed, that's cost savings, efficiency, everything for anyone trying to run these massive data centers.
And that's the key. It's not just making AI faster, it's making it so anyone can use it, not just the big guys. Lower cost means smaller companies, everybody can get in on this.
And they're all in on this accelerated computing, right? Like Ron was saying, that's the only way to handle the data deluge that AI needs to function.
Think of it this way. Old school CPUs are like trying to watch a movie one frame at a time. GPUs, which is NVIDIA's jam, they're like watching the whole movie at once. For AI, no comparison.
Okay, so faster chips, better architecture, got it. But where does this hit US? Like our lives? They gave some pretty wild examples during this call, stuff that's going to change everything, from how doctors do their thing to, well, how the internet itself works.
One that really got me was how much they focused on data processing as like the killer app for this. I know it doesn't sound as exciting as, I don't know, some new AI chatbot thing.
But not exactly sci-fi movie material.
But hold on, think about the implications. Financial markets, crunching numbers in real time, medical images, spotting diseases earlier, even all the crazy data from social media, every post, like, this is the invisible engine of the digital world, and it's about to get a turbocharge.
And NVIDIA is holding the keys to the turbocharger.
Exactly. And they're not being stingy with it either. They talked about their NVIDIA AI enterprise platform, basically making it easier for companies to build their own AI solutions, even if they don't have a whole team of AI geniuses on staff.
Okay, now my head's really spinning. If we make AI this powerful and this easy to use, I mean, what are the implications?
That's where it gets really interesting, right? This isn't just like making things a little faster anymore. This is a fundamental shift. How tech impacts our lives, everything. It's all up for grabs now.
So to recap, NVIDIA is all in on AI. They've got the goods to make it happen, and they're making sure it's not just for the tech giants. But how does this actually play out in the real world? That's what I want to know.
Well, for starters, they're partnering with companies you wouldn't believe. Robotics companies, for example. We're talking robots that can help with surgery, work right alongside people in factories, even explore places too dangerous for us to go.
Okay, robots doing surgery. Now that's next level stuff right there. Makes sense though when you think about it. The more complex the thing you're trying to do, the more you need that NVIDIA firepower, right? And AI's ability to sort through mountains of data.
Exactly. And this isn't about replacing humans. It's about, think of it like AI giving surgeons, like superpowers, more precision, fewer mistakes, better outcomes for patients. It's enhancing what we can do, not taking over.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better about the whole robot surgeon thing. But they also dropped this term, sovereign AI. And that sounds kind of intense. What's that all about?
So sovereign AI, it's basically like, imagine countries wanting their own AI. Right? Not just relying on the big companies or other countries who are ahead of the game now, like energy independence, but for AI.
Control, right. Who controls the data? Who controls the tech? Yeah, in this day and age, I get it.
Exactly. And NVIDIA sees this as a huge opportunity. They're already working with like governments and organizations all over the world, helping them build up their own AI capabilities.
So they're not just selling the shovels in this gold rush, they're helping dig the mine shafts too. Pretty smart.
Right.
But what about us regular folks? Not surgeons, not presidents. What does this mean for how we use tech every day?
Well, remember they were talking about NVIDIA AE, that whole suite of generative AI tools? That's about bringing this power to your laptop, to everyone. Think video editing, but with AI doing the heavy lifting, making special effects for you, or games that look and feel more real than ever.
Wait, hold up. We're going from watching AI-made stuff to actually making it ourselves on our own computers. That's wild. Can my poor little laptop even handle that?
That's where their RTX technology comes in. It's built for this, for the demands of generative AI. So you don't need some supercomputer in the cloud. You can do it right there on your own machine.
Okay, this is huge. So we've got industries changing the way we work and now our creative tools too. Anything else I should add to my AI bingo card here?
Well, they did mention quantum computing, but that's still pretty early stages, but super exciting.
Quantum computing. Isn't that like the next generation of this stuff? What's NVIDIA doing there?
So quantum computing, it can solve problems that would take our best computers today, like forever. Things like developing new medicines, material science, even cracking the codes that keep our online data safe. And NVIDIA, they're working on the software and hardware to bridge the gap between today's computers and this quantum future.
Okay, so they're playing the long game here. Everyone else is still figuring out AI, and they're already prepping for what comes after.
Exactly. They're not just reacting, they're anticipating, making sure they're in the driver's seat for whatever comes next. And speaking of driver's seats, we got to talk about their automotive stuff. They dropped some hints about where that's going, and it's big.
Yeah, they said their automotive business is booming. All these car companies want their AI cockpits, the self-driving platforms, but they were being kind of vague on the details.
Here's what's interesting. They said that every single car company that's working on self-driving cars, everyone, is using NVIDIA in their data centers.
Seriously, all of them. That's a bold statement.
It tells you how important they've become to this whole thing. It's not just about fancy touchscreens in your car anymore. It's about the brains of the operation, the part that lets the car drive itself. And that takes a ton of data processing in real time.
So if they're already the go-to for self-driving tech, where do they even go from there?
Well, they hinted at a future where your car, it's not just a car, it's like your own personal AI assistant on wheels. Cockpits that adapt to you, give you info, entertainment, connect to your house, your devices.
So our cars become like extensions of our digital lives. Powered by NVIDIA, of course.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the car itself. They're talking about AI to make roads safer, less traffic, even smarter logistics, like how we transport everything around the world.
Not just smarter cars, but a smarter whole transportation system.
Exactly. And that's what we keep seeing with them. They're thinking big picture. They're not just focused on one piece of the puzzle. They're thinking about the whole thing.
Okay, so they're shaping the future of AI, transportation, quantum computing. Is there anything they're not involved in?
Well, one area they did emphasize was professional visualization. It might sound kind of niche, but it's huge for things like manufacturing, architecture, even movies and entertainment.
They did say their revenue from that was up, especially from car companies and manufacturers, right?
It's because of this thing called digital twins, basically like super detailed virtual versions of real stuff. Factories, even entire cities. Companies use these to test things out, find problems before they happen in the real world. It's like super-powered planning.
Like those 3D models architects use, but on a whole other level.
Exactly. And NVIDIA's tech is driving it all, making these simulations crazy detailed and complex.
They even gave that example of Foxconn, the company that makes NVIDIA's Blackwell systems. They're using NVIDIA's Omniverse platform to make a digital twin of their factory.
Right. NVIDIA tech being used to build NVIDIA tech. How meta is that?
It's like looking into a mirror that just keeps reflecting NVIDIA forever.
Yeah, something like that. But it also shows how seriously they take this stuff. They don't just talk about it. They use it themselves to push the limits of what's possible.
So yeah, they're putting their money where their mouth is, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
But with all this future talk, they did get real about some of the challenges too, didn't they? Like they weren't shying away from the tough questions.
No, not at all. They even admitted that the AI chip game is getting crowded, right?
Yeah.
Intel, AMD, they're spending huge GE money to catch up. Even Google and Tesla making their own chips now.
It's like everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Exactly. NVIDIA can't just coast on what they've done. They got to keep innovating.
No, they get left behind.
Right. And they talked about that, how they're not just hardware anymore. They're a full-on AI platform company now.
Building that ecosystem like we were talking about before. But even with all this good news, there are those bigger worries about AI in general, right? Did they address any of that?
They did, yeah. Jobs, privacy, even AI bias. They acknowledged all that. And they said they're serious about developing AI responsibly. Talked about promoting ethical AI, fairness, transparency.
So at least they're not ignoring the ethical side of things. That's something, right?
Definitely. It's like they understand that for AI to have a future, people got to trust it, right? And that means facing these tough questions.
It's a conversation the whole world needs to be having, honestly. not just tech people.
100%. And got to give NVIDIA credit. They seem to get it. Oh, and they also brought up the environment. Like, all this powerful AI, it needs a lot of power, right? That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, can't exactly run a supercomputer on good vibes and sunshine. Did they say how they're handling that?
They did. More efficient chip designs, renewable energy for their data centers. They're trying to make AI more sustainable.
In every sense of the word.
Exactly. It's a work in progress, but they seem to get that they got to balance this cool tech with taking care of the planet, you know?
Which brings us right back to where we started. This earnings call, it wasn't just about money. It was about a whole vision of the future. A future run by AI, with NVIDIA leading the charge.
Totally. And what got me, they're so optimistic about this stuff. Like, they really believe AI can solve big problems, not just make them money.
And they're backing it up with action. All that research and development, those partnerships, they're building this AI world piece by piece.
No doubt about it.
Well, after all this, I gotta say, I'm excited, but kind of nervous too. The future NVIDIA's talking about, it's amazing, but also kind of scary, you know?
I think that's the right reaction, honestly. This AI stuff, it's full of potential, good and bad. It's on us to steer it the right way.
Well said.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that, stay informed. Keep asking questions. Don't just take things at face value.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, right?
That's what we always say. Well, that's it for our deep dive into NVIDIA's earnings call. Hope you learned something, had your mind blown a little. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep wondering, what if?